Shemai Friendly Eye, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Caitlin Anwyn for anyone who's new here, and let's get back into building in Planet Zoo. And I'm continuing in the North American Taiga Zoo again today. And what a treat! 2 speed builds in 1 week. We haven't done that in a few months since I started playing Life is Strange, but all of that is done now. And today, even though you can probably tell from the title and thumbnail, this is just a habit now. I'm always going to explain what we're doing. But we're going to be building a timber wolf habitat today. I thought the timber wolves suited the winter side of the zoo really nicely, so I thought I would make them a winter forest habitat. I was struggling with ideas, and I was looking at the timber wolves natural habitats and their fun facts. Nothing stood out to me, but I was thinking of forests because that's their natural environment, and then I went to forests and immediately thought of Black Forest Gato. My brain went straight to cake. It got me thinking. I was like, wait, don't we have like wolves living in the Black Forest? And we do, but it's from Beauty and the Beast. So not only did I immediately think of cake, my brain went straight to Disney too. But it gave me an idea for the habitats. I didn't really mind getting a little sidetracked with cake and Disney. I had a really good mental image of how I wanted the last habitat to look for the Arctic foxes, but this one, nothing. I think I'm struggling a little bit as well because I don't want it really festive and really Christmassy at the moment. Because as you can probably tell, I haven't decorated for Christmas as I point to my Halloween pumpkin. But yeah, I haven't decorated for Christmas yet because in my family, we don't decorate for Christmas until 12 days before Christmas, and then we take all of our decorations down 12 days after. It's a tradition in my family. And we will have some decorations up for next week's videos because they would have been past the 13th by then, so I won't be having any bad luck decorating my backdrop for Christmas early. I don't want to make it Christmassy yet. For my styles of habitats, I want it wintry but not too Christmassy. So I thought of an evergreen forest, and you might be wondering why I've just got a random pathway in the center of the habitat. I thought maybe I could do a winter forest walk. Other YouTubers, friends and family go on these wintry festive walks where they are displays and light displays, twinkly lights, and it's just a really cozy festive thing to do coming up to Christmas. And I've never actually been on one, but I thought it'd be a nice idea to do something slightly festive in a way where it's a winter walk, light display sort of thing. Because we have timber wolves in this habitat, it is not going to be a walk-through habitat. The guests cannot enter the habitat. They are predators. So it's going to be a fake walkway. The guests aren't going to be walking in here at all. I did not think that was safe, but I just put a pathway down just to outline it for me. And I was trying to incorporate the snowy wall at the back of the habitat and make a type of hard shelter. So I thought maybe I could make an igloo style hard shelter, and it could be tied into the guests' experience as well. If this was a real winter walk, maybe this is the end of the winter walk, and right at the end then the people who have gone on the walk can then stop and take some pictures, have a little igloo experience right at the end of the walk. But these rocks fit quite nicely as bricks if you lie them in a certain way. I lined them up so they looked like they were staggered like actual bricks. To keep the brickwork consistent, I did 2 different rows and then just duplicated those rows up to create the wall. As I was building this up, for some reason the wall started curving outwards and away from the arch. If it curved inwards, it would have been great. but because it was curving outwards and the back of the wall didn't look like the front, I couldn't necessarily just rotate it, and because I'd curved it around the pathway, it wouldn't have worked if I flipped it on that edge. So instead I just built it up to the height I needed it and then just rotated it using the advanced move tool to make it sort of line up with the archway. And now I'm doing 2 videos a week. I can't spend as much time as I would like on these habitats and these builds. When I was playing Life is Strange, I had not more time to build because Life is Strange videos took me longer to edit because they were longer form videos, but I did have a bit more time to add these extra details into builds, and now I'm doing 2 builds a week. I'm not going to have that extra time. Not that there's anything wrong with this, of course, but there's a lot of creators out there now who employ others to do their editing for them, and it's only me doing this little channel, which I don't mind. I like having a small little community. I like the fact that I recognize names when they comment on my videos. I like my small little community, but it does get tricky doing everything for myself. I don't have enough time to have those highly detailed builds if I'm going to be doing 2 a week. Which, speaking of, for Christmas week and for New Year, there won't be a video up on Saturdays because that is literally Christmas Day and New Year's Day, and that is my birthday and my nan's birthday, so I won't be doing anything for those days. The pathway markers help a lot for building like space and stuff, so I'm using these circle ball lights from the Arctic pack to light up the pathway, and I'm keeping with the colour scheme of that icy blue and white for winter. Luckily the animals aren't white this time. I was really hoping for the North American variation of the timber wolf. I did go through quite a few timber wolves in the market animal trading, looking for the black coat variation, but I couldn't find one. I was gutted because that's only found in North America because it bred with something else. So in North America, wolves have hybridized with domestic dogs. That's what they mixed with, which has introduced a black coloration into the wolf population. But the Igloo wasn't enough of a hard shelter for the timber wolves, so I thought I would hide a little cave in the back of the habitat. I do like incorporating the pre-terraformed parts into the habitats. I have played around with some of the terrain, but I like leaving it there or using it for different things. And it's really easy to make a cave-like hard shelter for animals like this, and it hides it away from the guests as well. And for this winter walk, I wanted to have different groups of decorations in different themes along the path. So right at the end we have the igloo sort of experience, and then like in gaps in amongst the trees along the path I wanted to do different decorations. I needed to create my own snowman, and the circles just don't quite work like size wise for a snowman. They're either too small or too big, so like I use quite a lot of the smaller circles to create a bigger circle, and I think that actually works better for a snowman than just the sphere object, because snowmen are not smooth. When you create a snowman, the snow is never like completely smooth, is it? It's not completely round like these spheres. There's little dents and little cracks from where you pack the snow in and freeze your fingers creating these balls. They're never completely smooth, so I thought that worked really well, like that top ball. And I created a little top hat for the snowman too with some of the objects shapes, and I thought the black was a little too plain, so I used that cylinder shape again and lowered it down to create like a little band, like ribbon around the top hat. It looks so cheerful. I really love it. And then I used the Arctic ball lights for buttons, but I wasn't happy with just the one snowman. I thought it would be nice to create a little Snowpeople family. I find that when I'm building things, if I try to make it smaller, it's harder. Trying to make this like teeny weeny mini snowman was even more difficult. I ended up using full stops for the hat and the scarf because they were smaller than some of the art shapes, and that's just the 3D lettering full stop. And for my little snowman family, I wanted to have like a bigger little snowman. So I used the head of the larger snowman as the bottom of the body for the small snowman. Lucky you can see this, right? But I just thought I would make like a kid snow person, a teen snow person, and then a non-gendered parents snow people. With different variations of the blue scarf and hat and the different sizes. I wanted to do some sort of decoration for the front of the forest in this gap here, so the guests in the zoo can actually see this decoration. And I thought it'd be fun to do something with the wooden trees that I put as decoration for the gondola ride. And I just used the 2 different sizes of the trees to make the biggest tree. How do you put your decorations on your tree? Do you have a colour scheme? So you have all, I don't know, red and green baubles? Or do you go for like a random decoration family sort of style tree? I'd say family, because my nan's is kind of like that. She goes for the same sorts of colours, but then she has decorations that I made when I was a toddler. Whereas my mum likes to keep more to a colour scheme than my nan. My nan has more like family things with different styles, where my mum tends to have the same sort of colour scheme with baubles, which doesn't always stay the same every year, but she keeps the same colours on the tree. And whenever I decorate my own trees as well, I'm kind of more like my mum, where I'll keep a colour scheme. And white lights, like always these warm white lights, nothing else. Where my mum will have like multicoloured lights, and my nan will have multicoloured lights, white lights, anything, because she has the big real tree, and then me and my mum like the smaller fake trees. I like how I got that from the wooden 3D trees I'd made. This is probably my most questionable decorations for this walk, because the timber wolves live in here. I put the stone statues of the reindeer, and I put a pronghorn antelope enrichment box in front of the reindeer, because I thought the pronghorn kind of looked like the reindeers. After I put it down and I was like, oh, like the baby pronghorn baby reindeer with the reindeer walking through the forest. Thought that was really nice. And then I thought, the wolves are going to attack that pronghorn antelope enrichment item. It's going to look like the wolves are eating the reindeer's babies. Slightly questionable, that one. I left it though. Reindeer's a nice like wintry festive thing, and it doesn't necessarily have to be Christmas. So I was like, I'll leave it there, it's fine. For this part, I was thinking of the light displays for these like winter forest walks that I'd seen. So that's what I was trying to create here, with the snowflake lights and the ball lights like falling snow. I wish I could make these twinkle. That would make this display. If we could get the ball lights to flick on and off, like switch on and off and twinkle, that would be just beautiful. But I didn't want it to look like it was floating. So I used the thicker rope for the main hanging points, and then I used the African bunting rope because it's a lot thinner to connect the lights to each other. They still look like they are scattered and falling, but they're not floating anymore. So I've got the ropes connecting all of the snowflakes and the balls together. Usually when I don't have the surface of the sun on, which are my ring lights, I will just have these on and nothing else, just to give like a coziness to my room while I'm building and editing. So like I thought adding these star lights overhead would be a really nice way to like finish off or like start off the walk. And I used the African bunting poles because they've got like dots going up the stick, and I thought that could be like snow. That works, right? It's like snowy, the little dots are going up the stick could be snow. That's fine. I'm trying to go along with the theme. I really need to get into the festive mode, but usually I watch Zoella's vlogmases for that. Totally understandable why she's not doing it this year. She's been talking about not doing it for years, but that has been my tradition, I guess, watching Zoe's vlogmas. But last year, Pretty Pastel Please, Alex, I don't know if you know Pretty Pastel Please, it's not like a gaming thing, she's more like fashion, hey? But her aesthetic is pastel colors, and it's like my favorite builds in clothes. That's her channel. So if you like my aesthetic like this, you would love Pretty Pastel Please. But she does Thriftmas, and last year's Thriftmas was amazing. I love watching that, and she's doing it again this year. So if you haven't found Pretty Pastel Please, where have you been? Alex's Thriftmas is amazing for getting into the festive spirit. And then I thought, to make it even more wintry, I would add in some snow blusters. It's not the falling snow, it's the other snow effect in the special effects. And we can imagine people walking through this light display and then like snow falling down. And I did my best to try and time it. So what I did is I technically removed them. I deleted them except for the first one, and then press play, let that one animate, paused it, and then undo, played it so the next one would animate, and then paused it, undo, played it, so they would all go off at different times. But yeah, that is pretty much it. We're on to the Pretties now, where the wolves can go through their own little winter walk through the forest. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this. This is probably the most festive thing I've done so far through this winter side of the zoo. But if you have any other ideas for any winter Arctic animals, preferably from North America, but most of them are from North America, from the Arctic pack, but they don't necessarily have to be from one of the packs, like the Timberwolves. These are base game. If you have any ideas for habitats as well, because I'm not the most festive person, as we have discovered, so I don't have the most ideas for any Christmas themed builds. Please leave me some suggestions. I will do my best to recreate whatever you fancy doing. I'm always up for suggestions. And yeah, I'm going to leave it off there. If you've enjoyed the video, smash that like button. And if you haven't already and you would like to, it would mean a lot to me if you could subscribe. And hit the bell to be notified whenever I upload a new video. I upload on Wednesdays and Saturdays. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day. And I will see you next time. Goodbye.